Welcome to this Teaching with Tech episode. My name is Chris Bouguet, and I'm here with Rachel Madel. How's it going, Rachel?
It's going good, Chris. I'm excited for another Teaching with Tech episode.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So what do we've got this week?
We are working with the company Smarty Symbols, which I'm really excited about. They create all types of symbols. They have an amazing website that we're going to go over today. And I am really excited because I've been working with Smarty Symbols for a while. All of the products that I create for my business and my website, they're all Smarty Symbols. So this was a perfect partnership. And I'm really excited to kind of deep dive into all the different components of their tool.
So a little history here. I know Barbara Fernandez, her and I have worked together. She's the one who has created Smarty Symbols, and it's her company, Smarty Ears, that is the producer of this particular product. And her and I have worked together in the past where I am part of the Smarty Ears family, in that I'm the author for AT Eval to Go, which is you can get from Smarty Ears. So I feel like this is really near and dear and close to my heart.
Love it. Okay, so let's just dive in. I'm going to share my screen with you guys and show you all that Smarty Symbols has to offer. Amazing. Okay, so as you can see, I love the way this website is set up because it separates the three components to this website are the download hub, the printing center, and the activity library. And so, we're going to go into each area in more detail. But essentially, the download hub is where you get the symbols. The printing center is where you make the activities. And then the activity library is a lot of other resources that other users have created that you can search through. So it's really a really great way that it's laid out. It's super simple to kind of understand and to work through.
All right, so let's take a look at this download hub. What is it actually, or is there something else we should look at first?
No, I think that we can just dive into the download hub. It's working. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
Perfect. So, Chris, let's play a fun game. What should we search?
Okay.
What's the word that you want to search?
Well, I think at the time of this recording, we're right in the middle of the pandemic. So how about the word virus?
I like it. Okay, so we're going to search virus and see what comes up if my internet cooperates. Everybody's on the internet right now, so. Okay, so we have all these different options. We also have all these things related to viruses, which is really cool.
Like infected, COVID-19, shortness of breath, Zika virus, viruses, when there's more than one in the image, social distance. Look at all these that came up.
Exactly. So when we click on it, we can see the symbol. We also have a black and white version, which is really nice. And so we can then download either the PNG image or the JPEG image. It's always confusing. It was always confusing to me what the difference between these two were. The PNG file is really nice because the background is transparent. So if you're trying to, layer images on top of each other, the PNG file is awesome because you don't have to crop out the background, the white background that you typically see. So that's something that I learned the hard way, that there were things like JPEG or PNG images. So if I were, using PowerPoint or I was trying to create something in Canva, for example, I could just download this file and then it would open up and I could use this file, I could drag it in. You can't actually see this now. You can't see it because I was only showing that one window, but it pops up on your screen the same way any, image would, and you could drag it into PowerPoint or any other, tool that you're using to try to create something.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the two different visuals that we're looking at here. One of them is colored and the other one is black and white. And when we say black and white, it means it's just the outline. It doesn't have the fill-in colors. And so I am a huge fan of having both options here so that you could have, one very simple activity would be to take make a coloring book, right? With all the different symbols, and you're just coloring them yourself. But of course, you can now change the color by app smashing, putting it in a different app. And you're like, well, I don't really like this picture of a ball that I found is not I have a red ball, and the ball that comes up is, let's say it's blue. I don't know. You can change the color and make those adjustments, which is just awesome.
Yep, absolutely. So we also, I think it's great to mention that they have 25,000 symbols. So we go back and That's a lot of words, Chris, and a lot of symbols.
Hmm. Yes, and they're broken down into different categories. That
Hmm.
so if you're not even sure what you should be searching for, well, there's a bunch of kind of
Categories here. Action words is a really good one too. So
yeah. Look at
it's all, all of the action words you could ever think of, right?
as you're scrolling down, like right there, there's on the very on the first page here, in the action words, the first word is able, and what you're looking at is it sort of looks like five different versions of the same symbol. So there's five different ables, and each one is a different character. So there's like a stick figure character, then there's sort of maybe an elderly man, and then there's maybe a little girl with dark hair, and then with maybe a little bit darker complexion, and then there's a girl with maybe a more yellowish hair and a fairer complexion, and then there's a boy juggling. And so the reason I wanted to bring that up is that, and if you continue to scroll down, there are different multiple versions of the same word. So there's different pictures. You can choose the one that best matches your need, and maybe the person that you're working for. It's just it's really good how there's a diversity represented in these symbols.
Yeah, I love that. And that's not something that you see in other symbol sets. And that's something that I know Barbara Fernandez has been on our podcast and she's talked, at length about how that makes Smarty symbols different. And I think it's so important, for us to be able to represent all of the students that we work with. That diversity piece is really big, as far as I'm concerned. When we're practicing, we want to try to utilize symbols that children can see and can identify with.
Mhm. Can you go back up to the top for a second? Let's look at that search feature again.
Hmm.
Um, so uh, I think up in so there's the search on the right, but then can you also search by sound, like the sound that things make? So
Yep.
you can search, right? Um, so if there was the what are you looking up there? The S
I'm doing
sound?
S. S is the most
S.
frequent sound in our language. So let's do S sounds.
And
And
then
we
you can look at different categories.
action words, and then you can even do the position, initial, medial, final. Okay, so let's see what comes up. Oh, wow. So this could be a really
There's
great activity.
253.
Yeah, a really great activity that you can do, to help kids with articulation stuff.
So, yes, for articulation, but I'll also say I find this now. I don't think this is exactly how Barbara designed it, but I really love using this exact sort of thing for spelling. So imagine a student sitting with you. Now, okay, right now we're in the middle of the pandemic, but imagine back when you're with students again in a physical space, them being able to go over here and type in their spelling words and finding them this way, right? Uh,
Ooh, I love that idea.
Nice activity where you're just using it for you, but the students can actually use it with you. Yeah.
And there's a visual representation, right? So you're working on the spelling, you're working on that literacy with the typing, and then you're also able to then see a visual after it, like, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is the hardest, the thing that I am most frustrated with spelling sometimes is that it always happens in a vacuum. It's like we give kids a list of words, they might not know the meaning, and then we're just like, spell these words. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, really solidifying that with a visual makes it so much more salient. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think that's such an important thing too to think about, is like, let's take this very abstract word sometimes and then type it in, and then you can see the visual representation. And then you could probably, pick which one you liked. You could drag it into the a document, or we're going to go to the printing center in a second, and you could create something in real time.
So there's another feature that I really like, Rachel, and I'm thinking it's probably widely underutilized. But if you were to go click on any one of those symbols and kind of check it out, right?
Okay.
Whichever one.
C.
See, right? Um, when that comes up, if you scroll down, you'll see that underneath, because it's kind of hidden off the page usually, there are related words. But if you keep going down, there are reviews. So you can leave a review of this particular symbol, which again, most of the symbols I've clicked on, they don't have any reviews right now. But that said, this is a place where you could one, put in stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think that's something we just do now. Like I know I search when I'm searching through my Amazon or something, I'm going to buy something from Amazon. I am going to always look at the reviews. So I want to see how other people like this symbol, and if they are enjoying its use, or make a comment here about what you've used it for. I think that would be really helpful for people.
Absolutely. And it's always nice when you can give a company feedback as to like what you like, what you wish was different. So I love that that's integrated into this symbol, to this system too. Should we go to the printing center, Chris?
I think we should.
It's time. It's time to have fun. I'm really excited. This is the best part of this tool. Okay, so you see now we've transitioned. We can, at the top, we can do either portrait or we can make it landscape. We can, depending on what we want. And you can see there's all of these templates here. There's interactive book, first then schedules, sequencing. I love all of these templates because you'll see, we'll pick one, and so you can group them like I'm doing right here. And again, we're always working on trying to support literacy. And so I think this could be really good for predictable chart writing.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. And then we can also make it longer like this. So then what you can do is then you can go up here to the symbols and we can search. So what should we search, Chris? What could our predictable chart writing be about today?
How about our favorite animals?
Ooh, I like it. So we can type in, do we want specific animals or just generally the word animal?
Well, maybe if we were doing predictable chart writing, maybe we would say like these carrier phrases like I
I
like.
like, yeah, I was just thinking that. So I think I like would be a good one, which we could find the symbol for like if we wanted to focus on that. Let's see, we would want the whole word. So let's search for that again. And then we can pick whichever one we wanted, and we can literally just drag it in. Uh-oh, there we go. Drag it in, drop it in, and it's ready to go. You can also add text, so you can see all of the text options here.
Different fonts. Yeah.
Different fonts, exactly. We can move this up. I like ... Let's see.
So what we're looking at here is will be one sheet of paper that has 6 boxes on one side and lines next to them. So the very first one you put is a little girl that says like, that's the picture. And then you typed in I like right next to it.
Yep. And yeah, so we could, keep building this out. You can remove the grid so you can get rid of the grid. And then ultimately you could either print this out, send it home. You could also pull it up during telepractice, which would be really easy, and have kids type right into the screen. If you're using a platform that supports giving them remote control access of your screen. And so there's lots and lots of potentials here. Let's go back to some of the other templates, because I feel like there's a lot of really great ones. There's basic ones at the beginning, but this interactive book, and we're gonna do something different here. So I see a lot of potential with this for all of the online teaching that we're doing. And I actually think that you could create an activity that was interactive during a telepractice session. So of course we can make materials and keep those materials and pull them up in a PDF while we're either working, via telepractice, or then, once we're in person with students again. But you also could just create an activity where you're sharing your screen like I'm doing now, and you are just pulling images into the template.
And of course, I'm a big advocate for making the activity authentic. So imagine you were to say, well, I'm going to use this board with my own kids, or we're going to make this whole packet, or they're going to go on the buses that for people who don't have computers to pick up. So can you help me build these so we can help other people? now you have the kid invested. Yeah, okay, we need to. Well, but I really want to make it something that other kids would be interested in. And you're a kid, so can you teach me what words should I be putting in here? And you can build it together.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing is like, we can work on that literacy as we're kind of going through and typing things. If you put something like bear in, I'm kind of making an activity based around animals. You can see there's three different bear options. There's a bear, there's a bear cub, and there's a teddy bear. But what a perfect opportunity to ask students to describe, right? So if
Mhm.
they just say bear, it's like, well, there's three bears. I don't know which bear you want. So they're really working there. We're working on using descriptors, being more specific to specify which bear they want. So there's lots of opportunities to do this in real time with kids that are, is really exciting and motivating.
I want the brown bear that's old.
The brown bear that's old. This one, Chris?
That's the one. That's the one.
Great. I love it.
Now, I don't know if people know this about me. I don't know if you know this about me, Rachel, but whenever I look at symbol sets, one of the first words that I always look up, I almost said this earlier when you asked me, and I picked virus to be more topical, but I always look up the word ferret just to see,
Ferret.
oh, do they have a picture?
I don't
It's
even know how to spell that.
Ferret.
Wow. Let's
Let's see.
see.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Let's just throw it in there since we're on the topic of animals. I love it. Awesome. Let's
Yeah.
see.
So something else as you're putting the animals in there is that over on the right-hand side of the screen, it says pages, and you can add another page and add another page, which essentially is you could be making a book
Mm-hmm.
that, right? Isn't that how you use it?
Yep, absolutely. You can add a page. The other thing you can do is down here, you can copy the page, which I love because
Mhm.
then you don't have to recreate the wheel, right? You're like, I already kind of did a lot of this because a lot of these things are very repetitive that you're
Mhm.
making. So I love the copy feature as well.
Yeah. This would be so useful for making materials for kids that don't have access to if they have access to the computer too, like you said, if you're doing teletherapy, but I'm specifically thinking about those people that do not have access to technology and you're making interactive, fun materials for them.
Absolutely. So yeah, you can just keep and I love the idea again of kind of incorporating kids into the creation, right? And then what's nice is that after you've created a material, then you could reuse it, right? You could use it for the next kid that you have, that are working on similar goals. But there's no reason that we can't involve kids in the process of making materials for them. It doesn't have to be we spend all this time after hours like creating these activities. We can literally make this part of our speech therapy sessions, especially now that we're doing so much telepractice.
Yes, I've been a huge advocate for that for years. So, what are some other templates we've got? Because I know I'm we've talked about it before. I'm a big fan of comics. Is there a comic strip
There
one?
is, Chris.
Yes, there's a whole
Of
section on
course there
comics, right?
is. We
Hmm.
can make our own comic strips here. And again, we're just dragging and dropping. And let's see. We can add, oops, we can make a comic strip about ferrets if you're interested,
Ferrets.
Chris.
That's what I was thinking, right?
Sure, let's just drop them in here.
Yes. Hey, can you
Which is,
change the text once you put it in? So you're dragging him in there, and there's the word ferret.
yes, let's see. This is interesting. You can also search by sounds, which is
Yeah.
also really nice.
Yes.
So you can change it
So
to,
that ferret's name is Mojo. Mojo.
oh, okay, great. So there's um, the comic strip template. There's also this one, which is really cool. The dialogue, right? So you could import you could create something like this. I love, doing screen grabs from animated shorts or something like that, which would be really cool. And then figuring out what they would either say in that situation or what they are thinking,
Mhm.
which is a really great, social pragmatic activity to do with kids. There's so
I
much
like
potential.
Well, and what I like here sometimes is along those same lines is like we're looking at one that has 4 different speech bubbles, right? So you could have maybe you as the clinician or as the teacher or parent has done, cell number one, cell number two, cell number three, and
Mhm.
now what comes next? You, student, have to do cell number four. What do you think they would say in this situation?
Mhm.
Um, so it doesn't have to be all blank, and it doesn't have to be all completely filled. It can be somewhere in between.
Absolutely. And
It's
then
too bad. It's too bad you can't upload your own pictures though, and put your own pictures in there.
yeah,
Um,
I think that I mean, listen, Barbara's really like open to suggestions. Can tell because after every symbol you can add a review. So I'm
Wait,
sure
I
the
was joking. I think you can upload your own pictures.
oh where?
Isn't there an upload button right there underneath the elements button?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes. Chris, you can't play jokes like this on
I
me.
was
Okay.
being facetious, so you would show the. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So yeah, you can see all my mess. But yes,
So,
you can upload photos, which is a wonderful option.
well, going back to those comments, or going back to those comics, exactly how you could use it is you could upload a picture of the actual kid,
Yes.
and what would they be saying, or the actual mom, and make your own face look angry or super happy with the speech bubble coming off, and it just makes it super fun and versatile. So it's not just something that with is the picture support; it's the entire or with the symbol support, you can actually have actual pictures as well.
Yes. Yes, you're right. I didn't even see that feature, but that's a really good one, especially because I like to always customize it to the students that I'm working with. And there's nothing more motivating than when a child sees a picture of themselves or their
Mhm.
family member or something like that. And that's oftentimes so motivating. And we're always trying to find motivating things for our kids to practice and to get them talking.
So, Rachel, a couple other things. I have been working on an article with Beth Poss about
Hmm.
gaming and gaming in language, and I think that there's a bunch of game boards that are also available as templates. Is that right?
Yes. Um, there we go.
Yeah, underneath the templates.
Yes.
There it is. There's a whole game section where you can make your own dice, and there's Sudoku, and there's a game board, and
Hmm.
so I've always liked doing games and making games where where students would then bring in their words or the target words, and then you could take it home, and that's a fun activity to then play with your family.
Yep.
It doesn't feel like work when you're playing a game.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's actually a lot of game things here, which again, you can kind of create in real time with students and then send it home and they can practice with their family.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. Once, let's say I've created a board like this, and now I think, well, I've just created it for myself. Wouldn't it be great if there was some sort of community where I could like share this, so I don't you don't have to create it from scratch? Like, what if I was a therapist that's new to this, and I was like, well, I don't even know what to make. Is there a place where I could go to, participate in a community that has already made a board, and I can just download someone else's board?
Yes, that the great thing is we have that capacity. I'm trying to figure out, I've changed it so that I can't go back on my,
Oh, I think if you hit that community button at the bottom, I think there's two ways to get to it.
oh,
So
there we
there's
go.
the
Perfect.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm stuck. There we go. Oopsies.
Yeah, it's called the activity library, but you can get to it two different ways. And it has all of these activities that have been pre-made by other people just like you, organized by grade level, subject matter, theme, and it gives you a number of how many times it's been used. They're really, really cool.
Yeah, I love that you can separate it by, if you're working on articulation, you can see all of the things that people have created, which is really helpful because we don't have to recreate everything, right? Like if there's something that we're trying to make, we should already check to see if somebody else has made it. And then if, conversely, if we're making something, we might as well share it, right? There's no sense in us just sitting on our, computer or just limiting it to our students when we can share it with everyone.
It's right. We're all in this together, right? So help out, lead with sharing, obligated to share, Rachel.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, and what's really nice is that let's go to, let's see, there's a speech therapy, which I really love. So here's a quarantine schedule that was made. So let's click on it. There we go.
Yeah, there it is. Loading.
So
There's that
what's
moment of
nice
panic.
is that as soon as you click on this, it automatically copies it. So I forget the name of the person that created this, but now we're not like messing with her, what she created, right? We've now copied this automatically and we can change it to our students. So we're able to customize it and say, we're like, oh, like, yeah, they get up, but maybe this, we need to move this down here and we need to switch some of the schedule. We can easily do that by manipulating this, and it's not, it's basically just making a copy and then allowing us to edit that copy.
I just love that because then you're not starting from scratch, and it's just a huge first time saver, and second, idea generator, right? As you're kind of browsing through what other people have created, you
Mm-hmm.
can be like, oh, I didn't even think of doing that, or yes, I guess I should have included this on mine. There's so many different ways to get ideas because it is all crowdsourced together.
Yep. Let's talk about these. So there's some really creative people on here doing some really cool things, which I really love. This one is so cool. This practitioner has created, actually, I'm assuming it's a practitioner. It could be a parent, though. There's parents
Sure.
that, could use this tool very successfully, especially
At
now
this,
given all the homeschooling stuff. It
and
could be,
especially at that price point.
yeah, exactly. But essentially it's a visual scene. So this is a picture of us at the beach, which is really cool.
I mean,
Oh,
not of us, you and me at the beach.
I wish there was a picture of us at the beach. Wouldn't that be nice if we were at the beach right now? So I'm going to change this so you can see. So right now you see the scene. There's palm trees, there's ocean, there's the sand. So how cool would it be to, again, and you can move these around, right? So we can
Mhm.
say, let's make the boy go in the water. And so this could be a really engaging activity for students in real time to tell you what they want to see. We can add new vocabulary to this. So maybe I want an umbrella because I want to protect myself from those crazy UV rays. We can search for umbrella. Actually, I need to go in the symbols and search umbrella, and then we can add an umbrella. Again, there's so many options that we could do.
Mhm.
So we can say what umbrella we want. I'll
I
take the
want
green
the
one.
blue one, the
Oh,
green
you want
one.
the blue
Yeah,
one? I like the green
whatever.
one. I like the
Not
green one.
not that one.
Uh-oh. Let's see. Add. Oh, there it is. It's so tiny. And what's really nice is there's no white space around it, right? So
Mhm.
you are able to
Can you
turn it.
rotate it?
Yep.
Mhm. And put it in her
You
drink?
Yeah, that's true. We can make it tiny. Little umbrella drink for her. She looks like she's having a blast.
Uh,
So there's so many cool things that people are doing on here, and I just love these scenes. There's this baseball. Let's change the view.
I think you could take text and you could label things with text labels
Yep,
and sort of to get that
exactly.
literacy piece.
Uh-oh. Oh, wow. It's really, you can move it all around. Um, so yeah, we could say throwing. Uh-oh. Whoa. Throwing. And yeah, you can kind of do this in real time too with kids telling you, like, what's he doing? He's about to throw.
Mhm.
Lots of different options here. Yeah, this one's really cool too. I want to show this one um, because we can work on, let's see, we can work on the clothing, right? So we make this a little bit bigger. Oopsies. So yeah, like we can put his hat on. We can put his glasses on. You can work on the core word on. So literally, you can kind of dress this character up, um, which is so fun and super motivating for kids. Um, and it's so crazy. You can do this all within this specific tool.
So let's say you were one of those people that needed to do a tutorial, right? I mean, you and I have been practicing and playing with technology like this, but there could be people that are like, this is new to them. Something that Smarty Symbols has is a set built right into it is a set of tutorials and training videos that you can be like, okay, how do I download something? How do I create a move? How do I add an image? We're showing some stuff that we've been practicing and playing with this particular tool for a while. You know what I mean? You've had this is a product you use for years. So you get you get better and you're more proficient. For someone who's just watching or hearing this and go like, well, I couldn't do what Rachel's doing. Well, you can, just not yet. And these tutorials will help you get there.
Yep, absolutely. I think that there is so much potential. I'm going to share actually, before I forget, I would love to share my the boom card we just made. So,
Oh yeah,
Chris,
boom cards.
do you know what boom cards are?
Well, only because you were telling me, but pretend I don't. Pretend I've never heard of it.
Okay, so boom cards are all the rage right now in our field because they are interactive, we'll say, activities. A lot of people who had products on Teachers Pay Teachers are now trying to figure out how to make those products more digital and more interactive. And so essentially you can create anything really. The sky's the limit. And to be honest, I've seen so many amazing boom cards being created. I'm going to show you one we did for go, the core word go. And I use Smarty symbols. Okay, Chris, do you see it?
I do. The
Okay,
princess is
so
lost.
exactly, we need to make her go back to her castle. So then we follow up with a WH question. So where did the princess go? And there's 3 options: pizza shop, castle, farm. And if you said pizza shop, it says, it does this fun little like, whoops, nope, I don't think so. And then when you get it correct, it will log that. And what's really nice is that it will track. So you can assign these to students on your caseload, and you don't have to worry about taking data on which one did they get right or wrong. It's all built in, which is so, so nice. One of the ways that I've been using this is, of course, you can make this like a receptive language task, right? So you can say, make the firemen go to the fire station, and the child can kind of pull this over. And then, of course, the WH question. But what's really nice is, really encouraging the expressive piece, right? So I'll say, it's time for recess. The girl wants to go to the playground. Tell her to go. And you can have a student, either say the word go, or if they're an AAC user, you can have them, find go on their device and use that word. It can be a really great aid to help communication partners with modeling of this specific word. And you're able to send these to families to help practice. That at-home practice piece is so important. So you can kind of do a lot of different things with it, which is kind of why we created it, because I like to have materials that are really versatile that I can use with a lot of different students. And for a lot of different functions. So not just, we're only going to do this one thing. I like to kind of think, how are like 5 different ways that we can use this specific resource?
Yeah, it's to maximize your use of your time.
Exactly.
I mean, really what we're saying here is that Smarty Symbols is really versatile in that you can, I had mentioned this term before, app smash. So you're pushing the Smarty Symbols into these boom cards, but Smarty Symbols can be moved into lots of different software as well,
Yep.
and that's what's so great about them.
Yep, exactly. Awesome.
All right. Well, is there anything else to say about Smarty Symbols other than how much we love it?
I mean, we love it. I love it for sure because I've been using it for a long time in my business. And I love the look of Smarty Symbols. I have to say that. Like, some of the symbol sets aren't my favorite, but Smarty Symbols, I just feel like looks really clean. And I've gotten so many compliments on our products. And, of course, I'm like, yes, thank you. We did design this. But part of it, and a big part of it, is Smarty Symbols looking so clean and polished. So I can, speak for myself and my own business and say that I really appreciate Smarty Symbols and think that they really deliver an amazing product.
I think it's going to save you tons of time in the creation of materials. I think it's fun and engaging for students to participate in true authentic activities. And then I think my final thought for it, Rachel, would be that the larger company of Smarty Ears, like I said, I've worked with Barbara for years, known her for years, and I know how receptive she is to feedback, and how engaged she is with the community, and wanting to make it as easy and possible for people, right? So it's someone who I really love to support, you know.
Absolutely. So if you guys are interested in trying Smarty Symbols out, you can get a 30-day free trial and just use the code TWT 2020. So go to smartysymbols.com and you can put that code in, and you will get a free 30-day trial of this system. We would love to know what you guys think of it. If you're starting to use it, please share on social media. If you're using Smarty Symbols and you're a Talking with Tech listener, we would love to kind of see the creations that you guys are making, and definitely keep us posted. I'm excited to see what everybody creates, because it's so nice. We're now in a environment where we're all kind of doing digital things. And I think what's been really cool is that we're able to share all the things that we're doing so easily in a way that we weren't really able to do before. And so it's exciting for me to see all the activities that everyone's creating, because it inspires me to, either use that activity or adapt it to, meet the needs of the specific student that I'm working with. It's just a really exciting time.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's a subscription service that allows you to create and make all sorts of activities using different symbols. That's what the Smarty symbol set is and does. Do you know what the pricing structure is?
Yes, so let's go down. There's the download hub, there's a printing center, activity library, all the things that we just talked about. So as you can see, for personal or professional use, $9.99 a month. This, to clarify, if you pay for the year, it's a huge savings. So you can go month to month, but it makes more financial sense to just pay for the year subscription. And then you can also see that there's commercial licenses. This is the one that I have because I sell the products that I make with Smarty Symbols. So there's two different pricing options. The one if you're going to pay month to month, and then of course the other one if you're going to pay for the year.
So can I just read them off real quick? So personal/professional is $9.99 a month.
Mm-hmm.
For if you're doing the monthly. If you're doing for the entire year, like you said, it's significant savings because it's $4.50 a month. But then
Mm-hmm.
if you want, but it's really you're paying for the entire year, but it breaks down. So I think it's $54 for the year, but it's $4.50 a month. And then if you want the commercial license, which means what can you do with a commercial license? Like Rachel, you said you have that, right?
Yeah,
Um,
so essentially, if you're going to be using anything from Smarty Symbols and trying to sell that resource, then you would need to have a commercial license, which I think is a little confusing for people. But, if we're going to be making money, we need to license those images and those symbols.
Like if it was going to go up in the teacher pay teacher store or something
Yep.
like that. So the commercial license is, if you go month to month, then it's $30 a month at $29.99. But if you subscribe for the entire year, then the commercial license is $19 a month, which
Yep.
saves you like 30% or something like that.
Yeah, and I believe that you get 5 free days to create a product and post it to sell. So there's if you're not sure, if you want to do the commercial license, if you want to sell something, there's a 5-day trial period, I believe.
Mhm. And then there's also some sort of group discount, right? Where you can email Smarty Symbols or go to smartysymbols.com/schools districts, and they work with a group discount, right?
Yeah, so I think this would be really good if you're trying to get your school district on board. I definitely have recommended Smarty Symbols before when I do consulting work with schools. It's just a really great resource because, of course, we work with kids with devices, and those symbol sets are already integrated into those devices. But oftentimes, we're trying to create lots of low tech visual supports for classrooms, for activities that we're doing with students. And so having a symbol set company or software is really important part of our practice. And you can definitely do that with Smarty Symbols.
All right. Well, without further ado, thank you for listening to this Teaching with Tech episode, and we'll talk to you next time.